The Dodgers wrapped the first half of the season in first place in the National League West and having the best record in the National League. As you can see from the title of this video, clearly that's not good enough for us. We're going to fix the Dodgers today on All Dodgers. Coming at you live from my home studio in beautiful La Puente, California. This is the All Dodgers podcast. We hit a few memes. Happy Modelo Monday. I'm not drinking a Modelo. I'm drinking a free Prime beverage. Sponsor your boy. I was surprised. It does not taste bad. I'm also kind of disappointed in myself that I'm not upset about it. But enough about me. Let's welcome in my buddy, my pal. That is producer Kevin coming at you live from the kitchen. Dodgers off a couple of days. They need it. Apparently, we didn't need it because we're here live during the home run derby. And we're going to talk about the Dodgers. I think we have 5 things that we would like to see the Dodgers do right away in the second half I don't know if it's to shake things up, but we are self-aggrandizing enough to say that we're going to fix the Dodgers with these. Is that a correct assessment?
Yeah, 100%. They will go undefeated if they implement all 5 of these things.
If it's not all 5, can't blame us.
Correct. Yeah, exactly. It has to be all 5 of these things, and otherwise, you cannot hold me responsible for it.
0 money back guarantees. So before we get into that, quickly, I want to tell you guys about BetOnline. It continues to be your #1 source for all your sports betting action, and with baseball season in full swing, home run derby currently in full swing. Football season is around the corner. BetOnline has more ways to stay in on the action with the latest odds, news, scores, even live in-game betting. From MLB, UFC, tennis, NFL futures, BetOnline remains your choice for sports wagering info. In between games, they have a casino, an online casino. It's pretty cool. Check out BetOnline Casino with the top Vegas-style games. There's poker, blackjack, a whole bunch of stuff. Check it out. See it for yourself. Head to the website today. Take advantage of their industry-leading VIP program. They have level-up bonuses, weekly cash boosts. There's a whole lot going on there. BetOnline, the game starts here. And the show kicks off now. 5 changes that we believe could improve the Dodgers. No, guarantee. These got the bona fide All Dodgers guarantee. Right off the bat, Tanner Scott. We talked about this on Dodgers territory over the weekend. You and I have not talked about it since the madness of Sunday's game, but I think Tanner Scott needs to be out of that 9th inning. Reset himself, get into lower leverage situations. Now, before we talk about who can take his place, what's your kind of pulse of, one, will the Dodgers do that? Should they do that? And is it the right call?
Yeah, I think so. The term closer it's pretty overblown at this point. It's just whoever can take down the 9th inning. And the Dodgers have done it by committee since Kenley's been gone. They did it with Evan Phillips, Blake Trinan. Tanner Scott's just the next in the long line of high leverage arms. And I don't think it should be a situation where he's removed from it entirely. I just think if it lines up and, there's a good matchup for him in the 9th inning, he hasn't been used in a while. I just don't think we're at the point where it's like, oh, back-to-back days, it's the 9th inning, it's close, we have to go to Tanner Scott. No, I think they have to do better at finding him a lane in a game.
That's a good way to
as
put
opposed to just like always having to have him take down the 9th inning, because I don't think it's working right now. And the Dodgers have better options and will have better options as soon as one particular guy becomes healthy.
Yeah. Wait, which one particular guy are you going for? Is that Trinan? Okay. Yeah. All right. I just want to make sure we're talking about Trinan because they will.
Evan Phillips is dead currently.
Well, we know that.
As far as
rest in peace. I would sing the rest of the song, but we might get demonetized by YouTube there. But yeah, Tanner Scott, I like the way you said that. It's not so much the 9th inning or removing him from that spot in particular, but it's finding the right lanes. He obviously has faced a lot of top of the lineups, but then again, you get the situation we saw Sunday where he's facing a pinch hitter, Luis Matos, who I was on, we were in the bullpen, I guess I could say, Alana and I waiting to go live on Dodgers territory, and she was like, who the fuck is this guy?
That
he
slider
had
was
that
horrible.
run. He had that run where he rattled off like 8, 9, 10 games where he was back on fire. He found something with the mechanics, but since he's not there. And I think what I argue to Alana is it's about the rest, more so the reset. Get those lower leverage opportunities. If it happens to find himself in the ninth inning, okay. I would rather even avoid that like the plague if we can for a little bit, because seventh and eighth innings are also important to winning ball games, maybe even a sixth, maybe a fifth. And you talked about the closer by committee with Evan Phillips and all of that. Like we saw last year, this team did not have a de facto closer, and it's the first time they really didn't have a de facto closer in the postseason. And I think there's a strong reason why they won that 2024 World Series and they went on that run. Is because there was not one guy they wanted to plug, go. Dave needed to throw in there, like we saw in years past with Kenley Jansen, or for most of 21 or 2 with Craig Kimbrell and all that. Giving yourself different options, not marrying yourself to one dude in this situation, I think goes a long way. And they have some options that are currently active, not just waiting out Blake Trinan. So takes us to it's a split. It's the next point. So that was topic 1. Tanner Scott out of the ninth inning, or more so high leverage save situations, I guess we can call it. Who takes his place is the next question. That parlays itself into topic number 2. Ben Casparius in high leverage situations. This was your idea, and I love everything about it. Talk about Benjamin Keith Casparius. I'm calling him
Really,
Keith. Yeah, it's the whitest name you could possibly think of.
Like the whitest.
Yeah, respect to my boy Benny Caps, but still, dude has been an electric arm. Obviously, kind of ran. I think when he was he put into the starting rotation when he wasn't really even put into the starting rotation, it kind of messed with his rhythm a little bit. But I want to know your thoughts on that. Tell me about Ben Casparius, why you like him in those high leverage situations or spots, which could also potentially include save opportunities.
Yeah, it comes down to he just has really electric stuff. His stuff is absolutely filthy. Good. And if they tell him, hey, you're getting 2 innings, you get 6 outs and you're done, like you will not face the lineup more than once, he can just go all out and really hone his stuff and just, mow through guys. I do think he will eventually become a starter. I do think that is, he'll be a solid number 3, really above average number 4 starter eventually. But that's just down the road. Right now, he is so good in late inning situations, and he's just so good in relief in general. And really, I didn't think about it until he was, the last Giants game, where they go into extra innings, and it's just like, oh yeah, we're just gonna go to Ben Casparius to take down, extra innings, but that's kind of the highest leverage you'll see because you can't allow a single run. He couldn't give up a single hit, and he held the Giants scoreless, and that's really important. And he faced, good batters out of the Giants lineup, so it wasn't like he was just. I'm not saying this because he's pitched an 8th inning against the White Sox and like they're 7, 8, 9. No, he took down really meaningful innings in a game that it meant a little more, I think, for the team, because I don't think they wanted to go into the All-Star break with a loss, and they needed him to basically throw up zeros, and he did, and that's not easy. And I really want to see him, because this is that time where you've got to see what you've got. I would love to see them give him a chance in high leverage situations and see if he could be an 8th, 9th inning guy as the season goes on.
Yeah, I mean, he nutted up in an absolutely important spot. I agree with that. Going into this All-Star break, having lost 8 of 9 games would not leave a good feeling, a good taste in our mouth for sure. Another thing that is really, really good about the idea of Ben Casparius, again, not necessarily being the lion's share, quote, Dave Roberts, ninth inning guy, but being somebody who can take down ninth innings, maybe in like not even a co-closer's role. You find the best guy at the time, but I love the idea of him, and somebody we gave a shout out to today on Dodgers territory, Alex Vesia, has had himself a hell of a first half of the season, leads the team in appearances at 46. The 2.5 ERA is the best in the bullpen. I think actually it might be second best. I think Jack Dreyer has a better ERA, but of course he's a rookie, and Alex Vesia has closed big games. He has pitched in every possible scenario for this team, which is why I would lend a little bit more. I would put him higher on Dave's trust tree. We're going hard in the Davisms here, but like even if it is a co-closer situation, unofficial closer by committee, but with only two dudes being Vesia and Casparius, at this point, I fully agree and I fully believe that Ben Casparius has earned that role. He's looked good. He's like you said, he's got the nasty stuff with that fastball, plays up in relief, of course. Slider, splitty mixed in there, and he's got punch, which is one of the things we're worried about with one of the guys we're going to talk about next, but let's say a bruised Dark Gratterall in a closing situation, not having strikeout stuff. This is one of the big reasons why the Dodgers have never really leaned into, hey, let's give this dude who throws 101, let's give him that ninth inning every time. Yeah. No, you need to be able to have strikeout stuff. The other stuff plays up in certain roles. Blake Trinan has his punch, but he also can induce ground balls. But Ben Casparius has it all, and on top of it, if you need a 5-out save, he could pull it out of his ass. That's one of the other things that's really good.
Absolutely. Very rarely do you have all of your relievers healthy and available on any given day. Yeah. The Dodgers just happen to have that on Saturday or Sunday, whatever the last game was. I don't remember.
Sunday.
Baseball's Sunday.
Yesterday.
God, time is a social construct. They just happen to have the ball available because they're going to the All-Star break. So Dave could literally just empty the bullpen because they're going to be off. But on any given night, they might not have, Vesia and Tanner Scott on that day. They might not have another high leverage arm. Kirby Yates might be down because they, the night before it was like a run of, they went Vesia, Yates, Scott. And who do you have left for like high leverage situations? Then if you don't want to if you want to stay away from those guys, I think Ben Casparius deserves a chance to pitch in those spots. And like you said, maybe he could take down some 4 or 5 out saves because that, again, saves an arm. Just having that option, I think he's earned the opportunity to do it. And if he can succeed in that role, especially as we come up towards the trade deadline, that's really important information because then, people are talking about go get Yohan Duran. If Ben Casparius could be a high leverage guy, you might not need every team could use a Yohan Duran, but you might not need it as desperately as if, Ben Casparius isn't in that role.
And the other thing, again, before we pin this, and if you guys like any of the things we're talking about so far, hit that like button, subscribe to the channel. It really does help out the channel. We'd appreciate it. If you don't like it, go ahead and hit that like button. It's a great way of telling us that you don't like what we're saying here. But getting back to a point that I said just a few minutes ago, in that you go get a Yohan Duran, same way you sign Tanner Scott, he's been a closer over the last couple of years, but you can kind of get away with moving off of him if you don't need to, if you need to, because hey, we're the Dodgers, we can do what we want. Everybody, your role doesn't mean anything because there are big outs in the 3rd inning as big as the 8th inning or whatever. But Duran, you acquire somebody like that, or a David Bednar, which was somebody Jeff and I spoke about last week. You kind of shoehorn yourself into, hey, we're acquiring him. He's going to have to be our closer because he's also pitching for a contract and all that kind of stuff. I think it's different with the Dodgers, but I do feel like there's some sort of a need to do right by the player or whatever, as opposed to the guys you have in here already. They understand, the roles kind of shift. I don't know if that makes an abundance of sense, and maybe I jumped the shark a little bit on it. So,
but one last point I've got for here is I think early in Dave's career, someone like Kenley was really important, just basically to save Dave from himself. Yeah. Right now, Dave is kind of on an all-time run in terms of pulling bullpen moves, knowing when to stick with a pitcher, when to go to certain guys. He's done really, really well, and I would not hate it if they went back to a closer by committee and just let Dave stay in that role. It's like, you know what, I really like this lane for Alex Vesia here. Like, he's just got that stuff, and they let Vesia go instead of Tanner Scott. Whereas if you have a bona fide, like not a bona fide, but like a designated closer, then you shoehorning Dave, where I think you're missing out on what has really become one of his strengths.
Yeah, dude, it took him 10 years, took him 9 seasons really to figure
so
out
long to do it.
how to manage a bullpen. As RJM 0021 says, I don't trust Dave. Look at the track record, man. Like, he's been really, really good. He's been in his pocket the last couple of seasons in particular, and I think
with not great bullpen arms, or like not great available guys, dude. It's so much turnover.
And listen, the people for years here on the internet have been doing this a very long time here on the YouTube and having comment after comment of fire Dave Roberts. The fact that we're seeing so much fewer of that on here, at least on our channel. I don't watch the other channels with billions of subscribers, and you don't know what's going on in the chat. We don't see that here because people understand, like, he's been very good, and the bullpen was like his moves. Yeah, it comes down to you need the arms you put in the game. They need to do the job, which is something like Vesia did not do in, was it 22 against the Padres or whatever. And who's the other name that we also hated? It was Vesia against Joe
Kelly. I mean, there's a lot of bullpen arms we don't like in that season.
That's fair. So he's learned a lot, and also having better arms around him has helped a whole bunch. So we got that. There's 2 down. Tanner Scott out of the 9th. Ben Casparius in high leverage situations, maybe lending itself to the 9th inning. Here's your 3rd. It's also in the bullpen, or it's pitching related. Move Dustin May to the bullpen. Just make it happen. You know he's ending up there either way. Get the jump start on it right now as the second half of the season kicks off on Friday. Blake Snell's a couple minor league starts away from returning, most likely. Regardless, there are better arms than Dustin May available to pick up big innings at the top of the game. I would rather see an opener piggybacked by Emmett Sheehan or Justin Wrobleski over Dustin May starting ball games right now. His story is really, really cool. When you like really peel the layers back this season, understanding that he's been hurt. We talked about this a whole bunch, but for this video, in case people haven't watched us a whole bunch, we could reiterate it again. He's almost died last year eating a salad, which tells you, don't eat a salad, kids. It's bad for you. It's a great story.
You didn't need Dustin May almost dying for someone to tell you that.
No, you don't make friends with salad. The Simpsons taught me that many, many years ago. But with Dustin May, we appreciate the fact that he is second on the team in starts. He is posted every single week, but his ERA is also just a hair under 5, and he always has these big blow-up innings. So, again, he's moving to the bullpen either way, unless he's getting traded or DFA'd because he doesn't have options. That's my thought. Give me your kind of. I know you share a similar opinion here on Dustin May, but I want to hear your side of it.
Yeah, I think, and when I posed this option for this topic, really, it was to switch Dustin May and Emmett Sheehan's roles entirely. Yes. And with Shohei Ohtani pitching into the 3rd inning and really taking it down, I think that narrative is just going to get a little stronger, simply because if the longer Shohei pitches, he's going to take down more innings. He'll get into the 4th, potentially even to the 5th. If you keep piggybacking Emmett Sheehan onto Shohei Ohtani, then you're limiting Emmett Sheehan when, he's built up. He's ready to throw 90, 95, 100 pitches. That's where he is at in his progression. So with Shohei Ohtani having more innings, you need fewer, and I think Dustin May could become that 2, maybe 3 inning piggyback, because then you have that 7 innings between Shohei and Dustin May, roughly, especially when we get later into the season, and then you take down 2 more with 2 other relievers, and you're good to go. And then you let Emmett Sheehan become a true starter and let him see if he can take down 6, 7 innings, which is not something he can do if he's always piggybacking Shohei. And like you mentioned, Dustin May at this point isn't really a starter. They need to see we're at that time of the year. They need to see what value does he have to this team, and it's probably in the bullpen at this point. I don't think it's as a full-time starter. So transition him, let him be a 2-3 inning guy behind Shohei, and as Shohei's innings build up, that just allows, them to use fewer and fewer relievers. And then Emmett Sheehan finally gets to be the starter that, God, I just want him to start games. His stuff is so good, and he's so much fun to watch pitch.
He's fun. I would say at the end of the season, if Emmett Sheehan is starting games for this this team in the postseason, something went wrong. But he should be in the conversation of heading into next year. Is like, is this guy worth spot in the rotation or something like that? Emmett Sheehan is very good. He has more than 2 pitches, which is what Dustin May is limited to, and this is what we've talked about time and time again over the last really 2 years when we thought Dustin May was coming back last year, and I've been talking about it for a while as well. It's like he can get through a lineup once. Yes, he's also struggled in first innings this year, but he seems to do better getting through a lineup once rather than facing them twice where, oh, damn, I have run out of pitches. I only have this sweeper that I can land at maybe, I could not even strike it. I could break it off the way I want, maybe 50% of the time. And then, he's mixed in a lot more 4-seamers, which I think you and I talked about. They've looked a lot nicer. I think it changes the look a little bit. But just to have the 2 pitches in either 1, 2, or 3 inning role, it plays up a lot, I think, for him, his career, and for this team. We got a super chat from Richie Flores, 999 super chat. Thank you very much, Richie. You want to read Richie's super chat?
Even with $8 billion on the IL, San Diego and San Francisco haven't gained any ground, which is all you need to know on
how horseshit they are.
They're scary what they can be when they're healthy, and that's true. Yes, we're still very much waiting for some guys to come back. Blake's now excited to see what he can do at the second half of the season.
Excited.
Brewster Gratterall. I'm not counting on seeing Michael Kopech in a Dodgers jersey ever again, but it was nice while it lasted.
Yeah, no, I agree. But important thing also, and this goes back to what I said in the semi-cold open of this show, the Dodgers are very good. These are kind of champagne problems we're talking about right now, but not necessarily, because these are we're not really playing around when we say we think these are big changes that could lead to maybe a few more dubs for this team, or at least different mindset for some of the guys when the second half of the season does start. I do want to pause one second here, because I feel like I didn't do enough of a service to this product that I love over the weekend when you and I were last on live. But I want to tell you guys about the Pi Living pellet grill. This is a battery operated pellet grill. I get no money in talking about this. They did send me a grill because I begged them when I met them out in real life at some overlanding event. And that was the thing. They're marketing this grill towards camping people, overlanding, all that kind of stuff. And I was like, hey, what about your tailgaters? What about people, sports fans, wanting to hang out, party, get the grill going, if you don't want to bring your big old Traeger grill to your friend's house when you want to throw some wieners on it, or your tri-tip, or whatever it may be. So with the Pi grill, again, it's battery operated. It's, in my opinion, the world's best battery operated pellet grill, smoker, whatever you want to call it. Phenomenal for outdoorsing, tailgating, all that kind of stuff. Throw on the Dodger Dogs, have some beers, have fun. And you see on the screen, we got promo codes. Grill It 100 gets you $100 off the purchase of a grill. That is only good through the end of July. That's July 31st. Dodgers 50 is good in perpetuity, or until I upset Pi Living and they disable it. But $50 off a grill purchase with Dodgers 50. Thank you for letting me talk about that, because I do love this product, and I think you guys will too. Now, how about, we've talked a lot of pitching in our 5 things. We've gone through pretty much all of our pitching. This next one, I don't know. I asked you before we went live here, is this going to be spicy enough for people? And maybe it is, but my statement I had was Miguel Rojas should play third base just about every day until Max Muncy comes back, because he offers defense, and he's honestly kind of one of the best hitters on the team right now. He's hitting like 360 over his last 18, 20 games, something like that. The power has somewhat been there. And you could ride a hot hand, and at the same time, I established this over the weekend. I'm now a Tommy Edman hater, to hope that it fixes him, but he's just kind of not good enough right now to force his way into the lineup, as where Miggy Rowe is kind of getting it done. Thoughts on this?
Yeah, we've seen him at third base. He plays a fine third base. I think it helps him where he's kind of limited in range. If he only has to really play towards one direction, that fixes a little bit of that problem. We know his arm is fine enough to get to first base. Freddie Freeman helps with that situation. Anyway, yeah, over the last 14 days, over the last 28 days, he has a 1 OPS. He's been getting it done with the bat. It's kind of scary that at this point, over the last 2 years, he's been better than Mookie Betts at the plate.
Tommy Edman.
And Tommy Edman. The numbers bear that out. It just so the people know, that's what we're dealing with basically Mookie Betts' production over the last season and a half.
Yeah.
I do think it's a situation where he definitely should be getting opportunities there. It's the same situation that we're coming up as in last season, where I don't think they should rely on him into the end of the season, because I don't know, based on his health, if he can actually stay on the field for the whole season.
We saw him break down in the postseason when the groin gave on him.
Correct. Yes. Thank you. But in this short spurt where you're waiting on Max to come back, or if they're just waiting for Kike to come back, really, he is a very serviceable third baseman. He should be getting, the lion's share of third base. Even if it's just to spell Tommy Edman a little bit, and just make sure that he, maybe he gets a little bit more time in the cage. I think right now, defensively, the best this team looks. Again, Michael Conforto is unfortunately the cog, or the peanut butter in the gears here, but it would be Miguel Rojas at third, Tommy Edman in center, and Hyeseong Kim at second, Pages in right, and Teo in left. That would be the best defensive makeup of this team. And it could also potentially be the best offensive makeup for this team because of how good Miguel Rojas has been. It's not just that he's hitting it well. He's, like you said, the power's back. His on base is really good. He's not swinging and missing a lot. He's taking his walks. He's been pretty impressive in limited opportunities.
And it makes sure, too, I see Kenny Chung mentioning Hyeseong Kim. Comet has been making his Jeter-esque plays. It ensures that Hyeseong Kim is in that lineup just about daily at second base, where he needs to be, because that kid has been incredible. So this is this is a cheat code. This is almost now 6 changes. Play Hyeseong Kim every day at this point. What do you have to lose? He can kind of hit left-handed pitching. You don't have anybody else that needs to start against lefties right now with Kike Hernandez on the IL. Just go ahead and keep Kim there. And Miggy Rowe at third. It absolutely makes the infield defense so much better. But what I will reiterate here, this is specifically with the expectation that Muncy is coming back, and according to the most recent reports, he's trending very well. He's already, in good spirits. He's riding a bike and all of this, riding a stationary bike. He's putting weight on that knee already, so it looks like we said, like Jeff and I said a couple weeks ago when the injury happened, absolutely dodged a bullet. Did Max Muncy, but if something changes between now and July 31st, where it looks like Muncy can't come back, you need a third baseman. Because I agree with you. Miguel Rojas being your de facto third baseman heading into the postseason. I don't think that. I think you put yourself behind the 8 ball and trying to go out there and win that piece of metal for 2 years in a row. Yeah. But final one in our 5.5 things that are fixing the Dodgers to enter the second half of the season. You just did a video about it last week. We talked around it a fair amount in the most recent weeks. Move Mookie down. Mookie Betts is struggling. I believe that Marcus Lynn Betts will get himself back on track in the second half. He hits both halves of the season, but in his career, he is a much better hitter in the second half. And this is his time. I think this is his time to shine. He's going to get his mental reset. He's going to come back to the ballpark. Dodgers open at home, which is even better, on Friday against the visiting Milwaukee Brewers. And MLB 50 should be hitting again. It just shouldn't be in the 2-hole. I think maybe, where do you move him? 5 spot? I don't know where you put him.
So I'm actually going to adjust this a little bit. I would, yes.
Scandal.
Drew Durr said have Mookie hit leadoff, have him focus on getting on base. I would move Mookie back into leadoff, where he's played the most of his career. It would just be a return to a comfort for him. a comfort position. It's Shohei's production is not going to get any worse. He will be fine.
The only thing I will add to, I think right now, Sho is chasing leadoff homer like records, and he's going to want that.
I don't think. Oh, come on. That is not on his radar. There's no way that's on
I
it.
don't know, man. If you're trying to have this.
Chuck Nasty, is that who he's chasing down? Charlie Blackmon? No, or is it Schwarber? Does Schwarber have it now?
I think whoever it is, it's not Shohei Ohtani yet.
There's no way that's on his radar. Put Mookie back in leadoff, have him focus on getting on base again, not having to, be. He's they're asking him to kind of be a glue guy as opposed to being like a spark plug. Like, just get on base, do what you do. I think that's just a comfortable position for him to be. But I do think moving him out of second at this point is probably best. And the other reason I will say I want him in leadoff is I'm a firm believer that you have to earn hitting in the top 4 of this lineup. And I don't know who would deserve that. I don't really want Will Smith or Andy Pages hitting that high. I like where Pages is at. I like where his bat's been. And
Miggy
I think if you're gonna Miggy Rowe. I think if you're gonna move a right-handed bat, you need to put a right-handed bat up there, just because otherwise it's 3 lefties and that doesn't make any sense. But the guys that could bat second, it's pretty much it's just Mookie Betts. And if I don't like anybody else in the top 4, I'd rather just move Mookie higher and just let him go to where he's been the majority of his career.
I don't hate it. I just don't think it's going to happen. I put a couple comments on the screen talking about how Dave, I think Kenny Chung said Dave's more worried about hurting his players' feelings than making the right managerial decisions. And I think that's a little harsh on Dave there because, one, those aren't all his decisions, but to try to come up with a good reason to move Shohei, because that's the other part of the conversation, is now you're trying to move Shohei out of the leadoff spot to put a significantly worse hitter right now in that spot to get him more at bats. Like, I understand your reasoning. Mookie has hit leadoff a lot more in his career, but I think he would benefit just from a very different look in that 5 hole. And I also don't mind Andy Pages batting second in this case because Shohei isn't stealing bases anymore. So you don't really need somebody there to take a bunch of pitches. And it sort of changes the complexion of the lineup. And then the other final thing, 2 things that I want to note. It is not permanent. Hopefully, Mookie plays his way back up to that 2 hole, but maybe it sparks something for him. That chip on his shoulder. We know how good Mookie Betts plays when he has a chip on his shoulder. And I think, we saw it in 20, I won the World Series. Like, what do I got to play for now? Now I'm just playing for my own legacy. You all of a sudden, I'm playing to show that I can still do this, that I'm the number 2 hitter. Now, do I think he thinks that way? No, but maybe there's something to it. I'm sure he would feel slighted to be moved out of the second spot, but maybe that's the type of thing that adds to the spark of the rest and the relaxation of these few days off, and then the start of the second half of the season and all that kind of stuff. What do you got?
I don't think Shohei cares if he bats leadoff for a second. I think he just wants to win. I think the dude just didn't get to winning. Yeah, we'll ask him. I'll get his people, talk to my people. Yeah.
But, you still got Ipe's number? Too soon. Too soon.
No, which penitentiary do I have to call? That's the phone number.
Collect call from. Answer the phone, Mom. Anyways.
Just to we can what's the word where you not collaborate, where you meet in the middle. We can meet in the middle here. Synergies and stuff. Why don't on Shohei start days bat Mookie first? Get Shohei out of the leadoff. They've already talked about doing that anyway. Have Mookie bat first on those days and just see. You can take 2 weeks to see if he does better hitting leadoff, because I guarantee you he might, because it's not just that he hasn't been performing. It's the at-bats don't look good. They don't look Mookie-like at all. He's popping up a lot. And he's not getting around on the ball, which I know the lack of bat speed plays into that. But I think if you have him bat leadoff, once or twice, if he's comfortable with it and, Shohei sees that, I wouldn't hate just using that as a trial. And then if it works, why not? What do you got to lose?
Yeah, I mean, again, they have time to play right now, and I think that's reiterate this, because I'm reiterating this again. All of these are, in an ideal world, maybe everything outside of like Dustin May. These are all temporary changes and things that we think are more sparks to making the team play a little bit better to open the second half. Just very different looks. Dale wants to see Mookie put into right field. It's not going to be that. They also kind of don't need a right fielder right now. They have him in Andy Pages.
Guys, I don't think you understand. Mookie Betts is not that athlete anymore.
Dr. V also saying that. He's slow, not leadoff-ish anymore.
Kyle Schwarber isn't fast either, and he's like one of the best leadoff hitters in baseball.
Fair.
It's not about speed. It's about getting on base. It's about doing damage, and Mookie Betts can do both of those things. Mookie Betts can double his way onto second base. You don't need him to steal from first to second. Like he's not fast anymore. Teoscar Hernandez is faster than Mookie Betts. Max Muncy is technically faster than Mookie Betts. If you put him in right, it will show that he has lost more than just a step. So I'm sorry. I went on that slight diatribe. I'm so sick of that. He's not going to be the right fielder everybody thinks he is. He's actually a very good shortstop. Let him be there.
Yeah, and again, it's not the fact that he's playing shortstop. He's just, the swing is broken. Dude got sick, lost a lot of weight, put a lot of weight on, but you put weight on doesn't necessarily just immediately translate to muscle.
Yep.
I am an expert in this field, so trust me, bro. Trust me. But guys,
thumbnail.
Those are our thoughts on this. What are your thoughts? If you're not watching this live, sound off in the comments below. We will respond to comments after the fact. So do sign up or check those out. If you want to have more conversation on this, do check out our Patreon that is available on the internet. Look at that. I even added a QR code. Shout out to Seth Klein for helping out with that one. If you know, you know. But support the show and independent Dodgers coverage at patreon.com/realfrg, or click the join button here on YouTube. Our most popular tier is the $5 tier. With that, you get access to our Discord, where, again, we are having these kind of conversations all day long. We also talk about food and weird other random stuff in there. It's a really cool.
Sport.
And other sports.
And
more.
Yeah.
So do check that out. If you can't do that, not a problem. Just like the show, subscribe to the channel. That's the best way.
Or dislike the show. You can thumbs it down.
No, I don't want that. I don't want that one. Hit the like button 3 times and see what happens, and you should leave it there. If you're listening, or if you want this in a podcast form, whatever, we do have this available on Apple, Spotify, iTunes, all of that. Do check that out. If you could leave a rating and review on the show there, it does help us out. But that is about it. Thank you for watching. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the comments, the question, the engagement. Thank you, Richie, for the super chat. We appreciate you very, very much. That guy over there is... Damn it, I messed it up. That guy over there is Kevin Skinner. Give him a follow at Skinner7Kevin. Our other co-host, Jeff Snyder, is off tonight. I think he's hanging out with Barry Manilow or something like that, but he will be back tomorrow with review of the Dodgers 2025 draft, and we'll have a draft expert, prospect expert, Justin Lorber, joining the show there. So that's about it. I got nothing else to say. All Dodgers is presented by Bet Online, and we'll see you on the next one. Bye.